Alright, welcome back to Roguetech, and welcome back to your first playthrough. So, I have coffee, and the AC has been kicked on since the screaming children are still outside, so hopefully the mic's not picking them up, and hopefully my coughing will be resolved. I know you didn't notice because Future Me probably edited it out of the last video, but yeah, hopefully Future Me will not have to do it again. Coffee. Now then, we got 370,000 C-bills, which is not terrible at all. 100,000 from that, 25% from that. Our drop costs, ammo costs, and heatsink and coolant costs were actually quite low. Love to see it. Republic of the Sphere doesn't like us quite as much anymore, but we took negligible damage. This should be a very quick turnaround to drop on the next mission. And here we go. 3 parts of the Arctic Cheetah. That's interesting. 3 parts of the Kabuto. That's interesting. I believe it was the Stinger that we destroyed, like, all but the head, center, torso, and right. And then he punched out. So, yeah, 2 parts. Now we know. And... oh, also, I haven't addressed this yet. Whenever you have parts that can be combined, it will tell you how many parts you have. With mechs, I believe this only shows for that explicit chassis. So this is, we have 1 part of the Stinger 3R. So if we look, and yep, 1 part of the Stinger 3R. If we had a different type of Stinger, this would not say 1 out of 4. So it's always good to check storage before you actually commit to anything based on the numbers you have here. But I'm very interested in those Arctic Cheetah parts unless there's a lot of clan tech just to grab. Clan flavor... clan flavor I'm not super stoked about. I mean, it is very effective against battle armor. And we have been seeing a decent bit of battle armor. N1 evasion ignore for 10 damage on half... That's only 5 less damage than a small laser. And it does 10 heat damage. And it ignites forests, so if they're in cover, we can make them have a bad time. And the 10 heat damage converts to, I believe, 20 raw damage on vehicles. So... yeah, I think I'm actually going to grab the Clan Flamer. Here's the Clan Machine Gun array I was talking about. 1 ton, so... same price, or not same price, same tonnage as 2 regular machine guns. But because it's essentially 4 light machine guns, 4 clan light machine guns all tied together, it has more damage, shoots more, expends 4 ammunition per shot, has evasion, ignore, and bonus accuracy because light machine guns are highly accurate. The weapon damage does vary, but plus 10 accuracy and triple damage against battle armor, like, is so good. It's so good. It really is. Plus, oh, right. They had implemented, oh, it says uses LMG ammo. So I guess clan machine guns do not have special clan ammo, just clan missile tubes. Here's the Streak 4, yeah, like I said, 10 times 4. I don't know why it did 9 damage, then 8 damage, unless there was just damage reduction on our convoy units, which, cool. But yeah, Streak 4, I'm very happy to see streaks. Don't we actually have a mech running a Streak 2 and an SRM? So we could potentially upgrade to just all streaks, which I would be very happy with. Evasion, ignore, accuracy is always nice. We'll come back to that. Beagle Probe, we need more electronic warfare stuff, and that is electronic warfare stuff. But, again, if there's clan tech, oh man, plus 6% resolve, plus 1 tactics. That's hard to pass up too, but clan tech is best tech. And there's a Clan XL. Okay. That is 100%, no questions asked, the first pickup. I should have actually looked to see if it was on the table before I looked at anything else, but there it is. Artemis 2 fire control systems, cool. +1 accuracy with missiles. That's cool. Clan Pharaoh, Clan double heatsink kit. So, the tricky thing with Clan double heatsink kits is, one, you have to use Clan double heatsinks. So if you need external engine heatsinks, if you're running anything below a 250 rated core, you have to have Clan double heatsinks to run a Clan double heatsink kit. Also, there's not another double heatsink kit to show, but Clan double heatsink kits actually increase your C-bill cost for cooling. So if you're running a 250 or higher rated core with no additional external heatsinks, a Clan double heatsink kit and a standard Inner Sphere double heatsink kit do the exact same thing. Actually, even if you're running above a 250 core and you have built-in engine heatsinks, like the engine heatsink +1, engine heatsink +5, whatever. If you're not using any external heatsinks, the Clan double heatsink kit is actually worse, for all intents and purposes, than the Inner Sphere double heatsink kit, because the coolant cost is higher, but it does the exact same thing, up until the point where you have heat sinks externally outside of the engine cooling, at which point the Clan double heat sinks cool the same as an Inner Sphere double heat sink, but only take 2 slots instead of 3. That's the only difference. So I'm actually not going to grab the Clan double heat sink kit. Improved standard jump jets. Okay. They're just better, but they're hotter. They jump further. One jump capacity becomes 1.1. And this does matter. Even if you don't have enough from the extra point whatever jump capacity on flat open ground to jump 1 hex further, it still matters when you're jumping to a lower or higher elevation. It still matters. Also, the way rounding works, you can potentially get that extra jump capacity just by... Yeah. Also, you can fit more improved jump jets than you can standard jump jets. You can see Jump Jet S, the standard jump jet, is 1 maximum amount of jump jets allowed, whereas Jump Jet I, the improved, is 1.5 maximum jump jets allowed. So you can actually have more of them, and each one lets you jump further. However, you'll also notice half a ton for a standard jump jet versus 0.75 tons for an improved jump jet. So while they are better, and while they do allow you to have more of them and jump further, and in addition to that, you're no longer as limited by the engine capacity, the engine core that you're using. So you can use a potentially smaller core and save tonnage that way and rely on jumping for your higher evasion maneuvers. But they do come with the trade-off. Like, if you stack up max jump jets, if you're running max standard jump jets, and then you swap to max jump jet improved, it's 50% more jump jets, and each jump jet weighs 50% more. So it's actually a significant increase to the slots and tonnage and just everything. But you're able to get some crazy jump distance with improved. That said, only 2, I'm not super interested in taking them. If there were more, like if it was 4, I think 4 would be the minimum for me to be like, yes, that is a priority pick. Okay, Sensors Recon. Another wonderful thing to talk about. Yeah, this is so much good stuff. Oh, light machine gun tracer. Okay. I'm taking the tracer ammo because light machine gun tracer is +1 accuracy. Machine gun light array is 1 evasion ignore and +1 accuracy. So we're getting 1 evasion ignore and +2 accuracy on a incredibly high crit weapon as long as we can open them first. That also does crazy good damage and has insane accuracy against battle armor. So any mech running the machine gun array light will be able to shred through battle armor like it's nothing. Very happy to have those 2 together. Is that enough to run it on its own? 800 shots, Each shot takes 4 ammunition. So standard firing at ×3 for the machine gun array light actually uses 12 ammo from the bin. And if we're firing ×6, then that's using a whopping 24 ammunition per Alpha Strike. Which roughly equates to 4 Alpha Strikes per 100 rounds, or 100 shots. So that still is way more than we'll ever need. Yeah, so we're good with just the one bin. I will absolutely use 2 priority picks to get, especially early game, a clan machine gun array light as well as the ammo to run it, with tracer ammo, more specifically. It would be a much harder sell to grab light machine gun ammo if it wasn't tracer rounds. So anyway, back to the sensor recon, which is the next most interesting thing I see here. So, it is an upgraded sensor, so it gives increased sensor range and increased sight range. That's pretty cool. Also, before I go into anything else, it has 1 ton, 1 slot, which is what a standard sensor takes anyway, so it's no increase in tonnage over a stock bog standard sensor. But in addition to the increased sensor range and sight range, counters ECM stealth by 1. Now, if I remember correctly, and if it has not changed, the recon sensor cannot be used with a warfare suite or anything else that has a probe in it. But I believe it can still be used with an ECM, which is important when you get down to the IFF jammer. It has a passive 1 ECM shield, period. So you get 1 ECM shield for just having the recon sensors. And then if you put that on top of a Guardian ECM, then the Guardian ECM goes from 4 passive ECM to 5, which is a 25% increase. But it also means the active Guardian ECM goes from a passive shield for the carrier of, I think, 1 to 2, which is a massive increase. So recon sensors are really good, especially for like frontline mechs that are going to be likely kicking their ECM into active mode at some point. Very nice to have. Sniper sensors are very similar, related. I believe sniper sensors have the IFF jammer, but not the sensor probe, which allows them to actually stack with warfare suites and probes like Beagle probes and things, so you can get more ECM counter and stealth. But recon sensors, period, are also very, very good. So we're taking that with no hesitation. Oh, we're getting full on our slots pretty quick. Yeah, so would I rather have the Clan Flamer than Clan Indo, Clan Pharaoh? Clan Pharaoh, or the Artemis 2. We'll start with the Clan Pharaoh. So, repairing clan armor and structure takes longer and costs more. But Clan Pharaoh reduces your weight by more, so you save more tonnage, takes less slots, and, in my opinion, the most important part, has built-in case. So if you put ammo in the legs with Clan Pharaoh, that gives you case on the ammo in your legs, which is something that's very, well, it's impossible to do unless your armor or leg actuators give case. Those are the only 2 ways to get your leg ammo to not explode, or at least not travel to side torso when they explode. So the Clan Pharaoh is, again, a no-brainer pickup, especially since we are running ammo in the legs of our Bushwacker, and obviously a 55-ton mech will save more tonnage on its armor from the increased armor weight reduction, and it's running an XL engine, so an ammo explosion for either leg would kill it. Like, straight up drop it to the ground, possibly cost us the entire mech. Whereas case on the leg might give us the chance to eject when we otherwise wouldn't. So that's really cool. But yeah, here comes the hard part. Clan Indo. So similar to Clan Double Heatsinks, there are situations where Inner Sphere Endosteel is better than Clan Endosteel. Most specifically, when you don't need the slots. When you have all the slots you could possibly ever want, for example, light mechs, light or medium mechs, where slots really aren't an issue, even if you're using large autocannons and PPCs and things that take, weapon systems that take a lot of slots, it can very much be excessive slot expenditure, or like saving of slots, in exchange for increasing the tech point and C-bill repair cost for the structure. That said, if you never take structure damage, or if you rarely take structure damage, that doesn't matter. So it is just straight up Indosteel. And you'll see if you hover over, the tech point cost is only 1.5 compared to 1.4 for Inner Sphere Indosteel, but the C-bill cost is 1.8 instead of 1.4. Also worth noting, it's more valuable. The Inner Sphere is 160,000 and the Clan is 320, so twice as much. And the drop cost for your mechs is partially based on how valuable the components in them are. So, also the Lance rating, worth noting, I haven't really talked about Lance rating yet. The Lance rating you see when you're loading up, getting ready to drop on a mission, is also based on the value, not necessarily the effectiveness of your mechs. So, having Clan Indo, having, Clan Pharaoh, compared to regular Indo and Pharaoh, stuff like that, might potentially bump you up to a higher Lance rating than what your combat effectiveness really is. Or more specifically, it'll, not be as valuable in the fight as, whenever you're using higher grade stuff. But again, once you get to heavy or assault mechs, you definitely need the slots. And at that point, it is the best Indo in the game. I mean, I don't think there's anything that comes close to Clan Indo when it comes to saving structure weight and, reducing the number of slots taken. Clan Pharaoh, it's debatable between stealth armor, it's debatable between a lot of things that, Pharaoh Fibrous versus Pharaoh Lamella, that there's a lot of types of armor. But Indosteel is kind of like the only... There's other types of, there's other types of structure, but most of them are pretty unremarkable. It's mostly just save tonnage and cost more time and money to repair. And that's about it, as far as Indo goes. But armor, there's a wide variety. We'll talk more about them at a later time. So, just looking at what's on offer. Oh, also the bolt-on B-pods. This is what I was talking about. Max range, 60 meters. So you have to get right up on top of the target. But the damage is 60 times 2 if it hits. And up to 120 area of effect damage to any unit in the radius. 45 meter radius. And it's a streak, so it only fires if it's gonna hit. This thing, plus 100 accuracy against power armor and proto-mechs. It's terrifying. And it's a bolt-on, so it actually doesn't take any tonnage. I'm actually kind of tempted to take it. Because here's what I'm thinking. It's a bolt-on. We have multiple mechs that would not mind getting up close and personal with the enemies. Like the Stealth, which absolutely can run up and punch things and do all of that. Or the Urban Mech that can fly behind and through enemy forces and have insane evasion and then detonate that thing. It's a very interesting... I think it's more interesting... we're definitely not taking the Clan Flamer. It's definitely more interesting than the Clan Flamer. In part because it will wreck battle... the primary thing for the Flamer was it'll wreck battle armor. And it'll be, fairly effective against tanks and yada yada. But this doesn't take tonnage, is more effective against battle armor, and also can potentially one-shot medium mechs. That is very interesting. And I kind of also just want to experiment with it, in part because the handheld rework was largely built around all of the bolt-on weapon systems and the melee weapons and all that. And the user is immune, but that doesn't say the allies are immune. So you definitely don't want to run in with your friends and detonate this thing. I'm actually going to take it. Not necessarily because it's the best pick, but because it's interesting and I want to play with it. And addressing the other potential pickups, I am going to go with exactly this. And once we get to the building part, I'll show why. But the other honorable mentions that I really hope I get randomly, Beagle Probe. Always good to have Probe. If the enemy has ECM, if the enemy has Stealth, Beagle Probe is the way you destroy them in a timely manner. Other than that, there's also active probes, which are less tonnage but less effective. And yeah, Beagle's like the gold standard of probe. It's not the best, but it's always very reliable. Then, in addition to that, we have the Comm Suite Cockpit. So this is interesting because it gives tactics, which is increased sensor roll. Well, okay. Every 2 tactics gives you +1 increased sensor roll, +1 offensive push accuracy, and every single point of tactics increases resolve generation. Or is it tactics that reduces resolve cost? One or the other. In any case, it helps you use resolve abilities more. Period. In addition to that, +6% resolve generation from all sources. So if you're getting kills, more resolve. If you're making enemies punch out, more resolve. If you're just taking turns with good morale, more resolve. So it's very interesting, but I don't think it's as interesting with what I see here and what I have planned. Again, Indo, Clan Indo, both great. Especially early in the game, I would actually, I think, take the Indo just for the cheaper repairs. And again, until you get to heavy mechs, you don't really need to worry too much about slots. Unless, actually, we have, hold on, components, equipment. We have the Duralast Quick Cell, which is plus 20% armor weight, minus 5% damage taken. But we also have... No, we do not. Unless I already put it on a mech. I thought we had a high slot. Or did I just see it and decide not to take it? Wait, we already have Clan Pharaoh? I mean, I'll definitely be taking more. But actually, if we already have Clan Pharaoh for the Bushwacker, what other mechs do we... Oh, yeah, the Phoenix Hawk. Phoenix Hawk. Yeah. So we want Clan Pharaoh on the Phoenix Hawk as well as the Bushwacker. So we'll do that. Yeah, there's no defensive gyro or anything like that on offer. Omnipod Lower is interesting because we are building an Omnimech, and as you can see here, cannot be used with arm-mounted ballistics or PPCs, but it gives Omnimechs higher stand-up chance, better melee, and also +1 accuracy with any arm-mounted weapons in the same location. So, yeah, pretty good. Very good. They do not take any tonnage, they just take 1 slot, and again, light and medium mechs, you don't really have to worry about slots, so cool. And then, yeah, that's the jump jet improved. I talked about that. The clan heatsink kit. And then other than that, the Artemis 2 fire control, which is +1 accuracy with missiles. But we don't really have a missile boat. So that's less interesting. I think I would definitely take the Comm Suite or the Beagle Probe over the Artemis 2. But let's see what we get randomly. All right, 2 parts heavy-wheeled APC. Sure. We got all 3 parts of the Kabuto. Cool. We got the Thorn part. Alright. Wheel Scout. We didn't get any of the Clan Mech parts. That's fine. All 3 of the Arctic Cheetah parts are just sitting there on the ground. It's fine. We don't need them yet. We can't really afford to build a Clan Mech quite yet. We again picked the B-Pod. LRM5, sure. I mean, it's It's useful to have some LRM5s and SRM2s sitting around just in case you have a build and you're like, I have 3 tons left over. What do? Well, I guess I'll throw an LRM5 and, or, you know, even 2.5 tons. Half bin of ammo is all you need for an LRM5. We got a standard random machine gun. That's fine. 4 armor. Do we already have just armor sitting around? No. Okay, so I'm not going to sell all of them. Once I get out of this screen, I will definitely sell a couple, like probably 2. Maybe 3 out of the 4. Because if we ever build a primitive mech, let's say we get a primitive heavy and put it together to make it into a non-primitive mech, all you have to do is slap some armor on, slap some standard structure, slap a standard engine, standard cockpit components, like this cockpit basic. Do we already have a cockpit basic? Yeah, we already have a cockpit basic, so I'm going to sell that. We got the endo, cool. But, yeah, in case we're going to sell that. Again, because case has to be put in the side torsos, I don't think it's super valuable. Case 2 is incredibly valuable. I love Case 2 and would use it all the time. But Clan Pharaoh and putting ammo in the legs is generally okay. But yeah, the armor, having one sitting around just in case you build a primitive and you don't have Pharaoh or something to throw on it, or whatever reason you don't want to throw Pharaoh on it, yeah. Having just one bog standard armor sitting around is nice. We got a 120 core, which is okay. I mean, yeah, we don't have a lot to pick from. So 100, 105, 120. Fire control standard. I don't think we have a fire control standard already. Oh, no, we do. So those can go. Unfortunately, they weren't stacked, so that took 2 of our random salvage. Heat sinks, we have 15. We don't need another 18. Standard jump jets, we have 9. We did not get the improved standard, but we did get... Oh, no, we picked the sensor recon, of course. Stock standard structure. Yeah, we already have them. So we don't need that for any kind of... Hey, we got the machine gun tracer ammo. Ooh, okay. We did not get the Beagle probe. We did not get the clan endo. It's fine, though. We still got quite a haul. I'm very happy with what we got, especially since we got 3 parts of the Kabuto. Alright, only our Phoenix Hawk took damage, which means we have 1 mech down for 2 days for 6,000 C-bills. That is nothing. And that is beautiful. Alright. So before we work on all of that and figure out what we repair in what order, let's first look at what we have and what my plans are exactly. So, Bushwacker. We have Pharaoh. We have ammo in the legs. There it is. Ammo in both legs. So, without even considering anything else, we're going to go straight in here. And before we do anything else, we're going to drop some Clan Pharaoh into this boy. Beautiful. It also saves us almost 3/4 of a ton. In addition to that, we're going to put the defensive gyro on it. Because, again, this is our highest value mech. This is the mech that we care the most about right now. And you would think, possibly, that, oh, I got a Clan XL, we can lose a side torso and not lose the mech with a Clan XL. But here's the thing. Clan XL, 1.6 million C-bills. That's a bit of an ask. So we're not going to do that yet. But we are using the defensive gyro, we are using the Clan Pharaoh, and because of the Clan Pharaoh saving us more tonnage, we can potentially max the back armor, or... oh, also shield arm. More shield arm is always nice. And... okay, so we can't quite max the back armor. About 60. Can we get 60 all around? No, not quite. Is there anything else we could do to save just a teeny bit? Anyway, we already have a Guardian ECM here, so we're actually going to kick the recon sensor on as well. So that recon sensor is giving us an extra 1 ECM shield, and if they do get close enough that we want to kick the Guardian ECM into active, again, active ECM only gives the carrier a shield of 1, but the sensor's recon gives it an additional shield of 1. So it's doubling the passive shield, which is, you know, nice. But, Yeah, so Guardian ECM, Sensors Recon, good times. We did not get any of the special, we didn't get any of the Comm Suite or the, Fire Control Artemis, which might have gone on the 70 damage Alpha Strike, maybe? Maybe? In any case, yeah, we did get missile range fire control. I would rather use that on a standard LRM, though, because the reduction in minimum range doesn't matter if you have a minimum range of 0. So the 15% increased missile range on each of the range brackets is nice. But we're already outranging our LBX anyway. And we're already slightly outranging our large laser anyway. So if we can't fire our large laser or LBX, we're probably better off moving and bracing anyway than just firing the LRM-10. So adding the missile range onto the enhanced LRM-10 is probably just not a great idea. Now then, yeah, I think that about does it. Just bump down. I think we'll bump down shield arm just 1 point. So there we go. We have developed case, basically. We've added case to our legs. So now if the ammo in either leg pops, it will protect the side torso, which means the Clan XL is less necessary. And also saved us enough tonnage that we can have more back armor, so if we get, somebody behind us, even better. Or, we're better off. Pretty significant increase, actually. That's a full medium laser worth of back armor that we added on each location. So, pretty happy with that. I would love to get a, fire control cockpit upgrade, stuff like that, because those usually don't take any tonnage and give little perks, but just for now, as it is, this is a solid mech build. Again, the only real thing is just adding more cockpit components. But we have now probe because of the recon sensor. Not the best probe, but it is probe. It's the same counters ECM stealth as an active probe, which is, I think, half a ton. So we're basically saving half a ton on top of gaining the ECM shield, which is cool. And then the defensive gyro, again, just +1 defense, so effectively +1 evasion. Cool. Yeah, I am not seeing anything else that I intend to do here. So there we go. Validate, 4 days, worth it, absolutely worth it. That is going to be a much safer and more effective Bushwacker because, again, the probe and the ECM shield is going to make it take less damage and deal more damage. So that is, I think, our highest priority repair. Boom. And the Locust is performing quite well, just as it is. Not really seeing a reason to work on it any. Also, not really interested in investing C-bills or time into building a Locust when we're building a Lamb Irby. We're needing to still work on the Assassin and the Stealth and the Phoenix Hawk. And we're building an Omni Firestarter. So, we have other priorities right now. We're just going to keep dropping them till one of them explodes. And if we don't lose it, then maybe we'll rebuild it then. That said, actually, the Hornet... we might be able to develop a little bit more effectiveness with the Hornet. Because it is kind of slow. And since it's kind of slow... more armor might be a play. LRM ammo that can fire indirectly might be a play. Especially if we were to upgrade from an LRM 5 to an LRM 10. But that's a bit of an ask. That's 3 extra tons. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Alternatively, we could give it a large laser Tronal and remove the LRM, the Deadfire ammo, the case, because you don't need case if you're only running energy weapons. How long would that take, actually? If we drop the LRMs add the large laser Tronal, which is hot because it's hot. Plus 15% heat generated because it's pretty bad. But it is 600 meters, 40 damage. Heat delta of 10 with our current Alpha Strike. That's not the worst. That is not the worst. Like, just to put that in perspective, any turn we're not firing the small laser, it's a heat delta of 7. Any turn we're not firing the medium laser or the small laser, we're actually cooling by 2. So if we're at long range, only firing the large laser, we're golden. And obviously we're not jumping anymore, but we weren't really jumping with just 2 jump jets anyway. The LRM-5 is more damage. So with the Deadfire ammo, we were doing... Actually, wait, no. I stand corrected. No. The Deadfire ammo only does 7 per missile, which is 35 damage. So while heat was never an issue, we're actually potentially doing more damage if we Alpha Strike with the large laser Tronal instead of the LRMs. And again, we have no ammo to explode anymore, which gives us a little bit of safety. And it also, first of all, frees up the LRM-5, so we could potentially stack up multiple LRM-5s, like, say, on our Omni-Mech. But it also kind of, like, if we overheat with no ammo, worst case scenario, we shut down, and this is our fodder mech anyway. Plus, this also gives us another 0.58 tons for armor, which is, you know, nice if you're not using anything else. Yeah, Rocket Pack 10 and Tandem Rockets 20 is too much. We have no ballistic hard points, so we can't do anything there. So, yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm quite happy with that, actually. So, for 1 day, actually, armor is going to bump that up to 2 days, isn't it? Is it? Yeah, 2 days. Okay. And we still have another 0.67. You know what? Actually, to save time, to save a little bit of time, we're gonna just shave off. Oh, interesting. Interesting! Okay, so even though by holding shift you can increase or decrease the number of armor points you're adding by 1. But interestingly, if you're adding just 1 armor point out of each 5 bracket, it takes the same amount of days as if you are adding all 5 of that block. And actually, I think I'm going to go center. I think I'm going to go center. Actually, I think I'm just going to go all center. Like that. Yeah, because it was at 40. It was at 40 on the sides. So now, we're still not the fastest. We're still, you know, moving 5.7. It's average speed. But we have almost double the armor on our center torso. And we have a large laser instead of the missiles. So we don't have to worry nearly as much about this little guy. And it only takes 1 day. So I'm actually going to commit to that. And again, the only time I'm going to put any more time into the Hornet than that is in the event that we end up, you know, with free time and not having 2 mechs being worked on. Which is not going to be for a while since we're currently building multiple mechs. In any case, I think I'm going to prioritize Bushwhacker stealth because I actually want to look at the stealth next. And then Phoenix Hawk, Assassin, like, as much as I would love to build the Firestarter and Urban Mech sooner than later, I think it just makes more sense to work on the mechs that we'll be able to get up and running in 3-4 days. Because it's 10 days on the Irby, and it's 4 days for just the parts that we started repairing of the Firestarter. So, we're going to put those at the bottom. We're just going to work on optimizing the mechs we have for now. So, we do have Braver Hellion Huldra up in 1 day, Scion Tainted Loki up in 2 days, and then Horic, Rizalka, etc. in 3. But we're going to need a little bit more time than that to work on stuff. So we will be skipping out on potential missions we could be doing to get some work done. Okay. I almost clicked the pause button as this popped up, which would have meant that it could have potentially kept ticking. That would have been bad. Alright, happy accidents. Yeah, so we have triple F burger meat. So, if you destroy the meat, I believe there's a chance for a negative morale hit, and you don't get any positives out of it. If you give the crates of meat to Yang, it can go good or bad. The bad is your mech techs get sick, so you lose mech tech. Morale drops because everyone's getting food poisoning. And the good is the opposite of that. Morale increases, mech tech increases. But if you task Darius with selling them, you potentially get C-bills. And it's less risky. Considerably less risky. That said, I am about to be doing a lot of work on our mechs. So do I feel lucky is the question. I'm gonna say no. Alright, 10,000 C-bills. Not bad. Alright, cool. So we didn't lose any morale, we didn't lose any mech tech, everything is going swimmingly. Engineering, 3 days training modules will be up, and yeah, that'll be nice to be gaining passive experience on our Mechwarriors while we build stuff. In the mech bay, we currently have the Stealth, the Locust, the Bushwacker, and our vehicles. We could actually drop on a mission right now with just those 3 and the 2 vehicles. And that would give our Mechwarriors something to do instead of just sitting around doing nothing and not using their fatigue at all. So before I go into the plans for the light machine gun array and stuff, spoilers, light machine gun array is going on the stealth. Yeah, because it has 1 ballistic hardpoint. Well, I'll go over briefly what I'm thinking. So, right now the stealth just has stock standard armor. It has a beagle probe, so it's very accurate. It has a streak too. I would love to upgrade this SRM6 into a streak, but it's fine for now. But the main thing it has is no weapons in its side in its arms. So what I'm thinking is bolt-on B-pod. Can I put it in the hand? No, I have to put it in a specialist slot. So B-pod bolt-on. Using the machine gun array. Its head slot. So the idea was punch with the 2 fists, fire off the B-pod, and shoot the machine gun array into the back of something. Like, that's a one-shot kill, even potentially on lighter heavy mechs. Like, a solid punch with both the punches landing from a 45-tonner, and the full weapon loadout firing, and the B-pod, and the machine gun array would have just shredded through basically anything up till probably 70-75 tons at least. But, unfortunately, not an option. Not an option because the ballistic hardpoint's in the head. Now, there are torso mount cockpits that you can get, where you replace the head slots with a gyro that's basically bigger, and the cockpit gets put into the head, which then lets you use head weapon hardpoints much more readily. Much more readily. But we don't have that, and so the machine gun array light, with its 5 slot requirement, cannot go into the stealth. And we're definitely not going to use the machine gun quick sell in the stealth's head, because it has internal ammo. 12 salvos of internal ammo in the location it's installed in. Yeah, not gonna happen. I think we are still gonna use the B-pod on the stealth, because again, punch, shoot, shoot, boom. Right in the middle of all the enemies. That would be devastating. And we're definitely gonna... I think we're definitely going to also use the Clan Pharaoh, put the ammo in the legs, remove the jump jets. Like, we're gonna do a full rebuild on the stealth. But I do want to use it in this mission. Here's the cool thing. If it gets damaged in the mission, I can just not, like, I can cancel the work repairing it from after the mission and then just build it and make use of the time where it would be getting work done. It will end up being out of the picture for longer, so I only want to really do that if I already have 3 or 4 mechs able to drop while I'm doing that. Because the rebuild I'm thinking of is going to take probably at least 5-6 days, even with this mech tech. But that's what I'm planning for the stealth. And now that I know that I can't use the machine gun array light on it, it's a pretty good weapon for the lamb, actually. Because one of the biggest weaknesses of a lamb is that it doesn't have a whole lot of tonnage for weapon systems, because it has to have all of the lamb stuff. But it's 1 ton plus another 1 ton for the ammo. That's 2 tons. That's it. And it's quite effective, especially against battle armor, and especially shooting people in the back. And the Irby is going to be the other primary getting up into people's faces and shooting them in the back kind of thing, other than the stealth and like the Locust or whatever, and the Mockingbird. So yeah, it'll probably find its way onto the lamp, but whenever I picked it, I was specifically thinking, oh yeah, that's right, the stealth has 1 ballistic hardpoint. And, it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, so, next time, we're going to drop on a mission with the 3 mechs we have available, get our Mechwarriors a little bit of fatigue going so that we make the most optimal use of the financial report as we can, and have a good time doing it. So for now, that's been your episode of Roguetech for the day. I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, have a good one.